Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. I see Balin's already got his chat in here, man. What's up? What's up? How's it going, everybody? Let's see. All right, we'll just hang here for a little bit for everybody to get here, and then we can get going. So I'll definitely like to respect your time. Nichols, cool kid, what's going on? What's going on? Okay. Michael J, how are you? All right. All right. Oh, it's Michelle. I'm sorry. Forgive me, my eyes. How are you doing, Michelle? From the class. Good to see you. Amber, Albergati. Hello, hello. And James, how you doing, brother? Been seeing you in the comments. Good to see you here. Michelle, how are you enjoying the class? Is it all right for you? All right, all right. Ah, there she is. My daughter. There's Vo Vibes. That's my daughter. She'll be moderating the chat today. Donald, Donald, man, where you been, dude? Good grief, man. Hadn't heard from you and seen you in ages. What's going on? Joshua, how's it going, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. And Crystal, all right. Hey, Crystal, good morning. So these are all people that are in my class. Wonderful. David, how you doing, man? So it's David. He's another one in my class. Good to see you, man. Good to have you here. Black Beauty, Purple Print, how are you? You at work? Uh-oh, don't get caught now. Yes. Yeah, it's recording, so I'll put it up again for you, Black Star Beauty. So most definitely. The Observer Sports. Hello, how are you doing? How are you doing? Let's see. Let's see. Books we know of. The 13 phase of that stuff. The 13 phase of the moon and stuff like that. No, I don't know anything on that. That might be something you might ask my daughter. So she's the one who's into the astrology and astrology readings and the moon and sun and all that stuff. So she's pretty versed in that. Let's see. The W Battle. How's it going? Good morning. Black Butterfly. Good morning. Lisa. Hey, what's going on? Lisa's in my class. What's going on, Rhonda? How are you doing? Say, okay, Ronald, you keeping up? I mean, Donald, you keeping up? Good, good, brother. Good. And Renee, how are you doing? Good morning. Let's see. ITC James says he has a red flag. Uh-oh, red flags. That's not good. Let's see. Enra Almond, thank you for your work. I appreciate you, brother. Just found your channel recently. Okay, glad you're here. Glad you're here. Good evening. See 11 Butterflies. Good evening, all the way from the UK. And the Math King Jabbar, what's going on, brother? I already know that name. Jabbar's in my class. The Math King, yes, sir. Let's see. Let's see. And Black Star Beauty says she got it like that. Black Star Beauty's running things. Okay, I got you. I got you. I ain't mad at you. Let's see. And Nichols, cool kid. Peace, brother. Peace. Virgo Venom, how you doing? I see Virgo in the chats, in the comments and stuff too. Let's see. And Tamika Matthews, good morning. Good morning. Lee Collins, Grand Rising, good morning. Glad to have you guys here. And let's see. Yeah. All right. Well, we got a good number of people going here, so I'm going to get it going. So I won't see your comments here. Let's see. Renee, you want to take the class? Go to beyondthephysical.me, and that's where you can get the information and where to sign up for the class. Let's see. And let's see. All right. So I'm your host. I'm Reginald Kuakaru, and I'm the founder of Kemetic Centered Living. And my sidekick, of course, is my daughter. So Vo Vibes in the chat. That's Voice Shay. She also does the birth chart and astrology readings. This will be a positive experience. So please be kind to everyone in the chat and myself and Voice Shay. If you are not, and usually we don't have any problem with that. We have a great group of people and great community here. But just in case there's somebody sneaks in, just don't know. If you're mean to people in the chat or mean to us, you will be bounced. Things can get moving in the chat pretty quick. So you see that $ at the bottom that has at the bottom of your chat window. That's super chat. You can give in super chat, and then I can see also put your questions in that, and then I can see your questions. So if I give value and enlightenment today, please give in super chat. I definitely appreciate it. Okay. And also I have a class, the African Mind Rewire. It will teach you how to apply African spiritual science in your life. It will make you more empowered, positive, and happy. It will show you how to do more, be more, and get more. That's what it's about. That's what this life is about having fun. And so you can go to www.beyondthephysical.me, and you can find out more information about that class if that's something that interests you. Also have a course, and all this is self-paced. So a course called African Spirituality Before Christianity, the Ultimate Guide. It will break down the misconceptions you may have had about Christianity and teach you the ancient African definitions and applications of concepts like the Trinity. Thank you. Thank you. Who's that? Bobby. I appreciate it. Bobby Anderson. Thank you very much. Gave her $5 there. But the definition and application of concepts like the Trinity, sin, prayer, and many more. So a lot of these ideas that we got in the church, they were African first, and they didn't have the negative ramifications that Christianity has given them. Okay, so that it's important to unhook yourself from these negative concepts and negative ideas. And as always, guys, I really appreciate you all for being here this morning. I so enjoy this, and my daughter as well, Voice Shay, because you guys always have some wonderful, wonderful questions, and it makes me think. So a lot of times you guys ask questions from a different perspective that I hadn't thought about. And it really brings something forth, something new and different and more, and it enlightens everybody. Okay, so I recognize a lot of times I can answer questions, and guys, the stuff is just flowing through me. It's not me even thinking about it a lot of times. It just flows, and that's when when you can get connected. It's like that. So I heart you, $4.99. Hey, thank you very much. I heart you. I appreciate it. And let's see. And succinctly, let's see. Yeah. So with your questions, guys, I'll do my best to answer them succinctly and truthfully as best I can. Okay. And so the questions today, they don't have to be on the topic, but they do need to be about Kemetic spirituality. So sometimes, like, if you want to ask me how to change the oil in your car, something like that, I'm sorry, I just I can't do that. So I take mine to be service. So that's how I handle that. So let's get going. So right quick, I'm just going to go over this idea because there's a lot of people that come to the comments, and when I say something about the Africans saying that we are gods, okay, and they hear a lot of the conscious people say those ideas, and their first idea is to go to the Christian concept of God, which is basically, almighty white dude that's in the sky pulling the strings for everybody, And that's not how the ancient Africans looked at God, okay? God, first of all, was not a person, okay? It was not an individualized being. That's not how the ancient Africans thought of God. So their idea was that God is, well, I can just stop right there. God is, okay? So and I'm using that term God, but it's loaded because it has so many religious connotations. But when Moses asked, "What do I call you?" The answer was, "I am," and that was it. I am. So that meant that God is everything. So the ancient African idea of life and existence. Life and existence is a lot more broader than what we have today. We think of life as a human body, a plant, or animal, or something like that. The ancient Africans, anything that could exist, that we could experience, is alive because it's conscious. I don't care what it is. My cell phone. I could not experience a cell phone if it wasn't conscious. It's just conscious in a different way. This piece of paper, okay? If it is not conscious, it could not be experienced by us in some kind of way. It's just conscious in a different way. But this is an aspect of the creator, okay? As insignificant as this seems, it's an aspect of the creator. So their belief in the idea of God was that it is not a statement of I'm getting a text, but so for them to say I am God, it was not a statement of being arrogant, of saying like I am the God. Okay. It was basically them saying that it's a logical progression for them. It's a logical progression from their cosmology. And their cosmology is that everything came from one source. Everything. So there's no, in other words, it's like with a lot of times with Christianity, it's like there has to be there for them. It's almost like it has to be God creating the things that I like, and a God creating the things that I don't like. So there has to be in the way that they think. A lot of times, it's almost like it has to be two different gods. Virgo Venom, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Virgo gave $5. Excuse me. So this idea so from the Africans, they really looked at things monotheistically, that there is only one source that everything emanated from. Okay. So for them, since it was only one source that everything emanated from, okay, in other words, that source, everything that's created has to be created from that source, whatever the stuff of that source is. So I like to use the analogy of baking cookies and cakes. The source of cookies or cakes is gonna be flour. But because a cookie is different from a cake, it didn't mean that it didn't come from flour. Okay. So the other analogy that I like to use, excuse me, is the idea that you can think of God as an ocean of consciousness. Okay. And guys, I can't see your chats right now because I'm talking, so I can't see your questions right now. But God is an ocean. Okay. And each one of us is a drop that makes up the ocean. Okay. So, in that sense, from the African perspective, we are a drop in that ocean. So, we are the same stuff of the ocean, just not the same magnitude. But it is not an illogical step to say that I am the ocean, or you are the ocean. It's not an illogical thing to say that that's what you are. Okay. So with the Christian way of thinking, the ocean is one thing, and then the drop is something different. No, that doesn't make sense. How is the drop? If the drop is if it takes a multitude of drops to make up the ocean, how do the drops become different? How does the ocean become different when the drops or something hits on a wall and then it breaks up? Does that make the drops different? No. So that's again is just it's for the ancient Africans, that would be an illogical progression to think that you are something different than what created you. Okay. So Let's see. Traka Tech, thank you, $10, and Renee Johnson, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So guys, this idea, when we say, you can logically say that you are a God, because and this bears out with the idea that we are a spark. There is a spark as a soul. There is a spark or a piece of God in all of us, in everything. Okay. So it's not a statement of arrogance. And I get Christians that will come on the channel and go like, well, can you see the future? Can you do this? Can you do that? No, I can't. Well, I don't know. Maybe I can. Sometimes I have been, all of us, we have those gifts. But anyway, but they have this idea of this omnipotence that you have to be. But the whole African idea is that you are a seed of the Creator. You are a seed with the potential, or you are an incipient God. You have the possibility of becoming more. Everything in our body is like God has we are a holographic representation of the universe, and that's how the chakras, the different organs in our body, the ancient Africans related those to the planets. Okay, as above, so below. And I say that, I use the word a hologram because anybody that knows anything about a hologram, if you break off a piece of it, the whole is still seen in that piece. Okay? So no matter how many times you break off a hologram, the whole is still seen in the piece. And that's what we are. We are like a holographic piece of the Creator. Okay? So we are gods. We're like gods in training. It is really what you want, if you kind of want to look at it, because we have the potential to grow as a soul that is eternal. We have a potential to grow and expand consciously. That's what our physical bodies. That's why we're here on this earth in our physical bodies. We can expand consciously, okay, and we can grow. So we're in a cycle. So a birth and death cycle, okay, as a soul. That's what the Osiris represents. The Osiris is the part of the soul that is immersed in our physical body. Okay. But it's in that cycle. So there's a lot more depth to that, but that's basically what that's talking about. Okay. So to say we are gods is not meant in arrogance by the ancient Africans. It was meant as saying, hey, I'm a part of the Creator. I'm connected. So is that cow. So is the sheep. So is the tree. That's why Aboriginal cultures have such a respect for nature. They see nature as a part of them. They're connected to it. Okay. So that's how that idea came down. So we are a source. We are a source. Now, believe it or not, this same idea is mentioned in the Bible. In John 10, verse 34, where Jesus says, hey, didn't I say you were gods? Didn't your law say that you were gods? Okay. So same concept. And it was making a reference to Psalms 82, verse 6, where that scripture says you're all children of the Most High. You're all gods and children of the Most High. So that's biblical, and that basically filtered down from ancient Kemet. That same idea. But you'll never hear that stuff spoken in the church. You just won't. Okay. So that's just how it is. All right. So does anybody have questions about that idea? So we're little extensions of God. Exactly. So Rhonda, you hit it right there. We're little extensions of God. We're not and really the best analogy to me is the ocean and us being a drop in the ocean. We all of us are a multitude of drops that really make up the ocean, and the ocean created the drops. Okay, so that to me is like one of the best analogies is to think of yourself in that way. But as that drop, you are a seed with the potential to become more. Okay, and evolve. That's how that idea is looked at. Let's see. Not the new hybrid lights. Let's see. Enra Almond says the divine soul exists in melanated people, but not the Euros. And I'm going to have to disagree with you on that, because this is how I see that, and I see that a lot of people say this. Okay. And let's see. And bond member, I see your question. Hang on, I'll get you. Okay. Bond member gave $20. Thank you very much. So the idea, this is no different than the racist ideas that white people did, that they had to justify slavery and stuff. Because a lot of the reasons they justified slavery was because they were saying that we didn't have a soul, we didn't feel, we didn't this, we didn't that. It's no different. Everything has a soul. Everything that is created on this planet has a soul. And so you can't say, oh, this is works this way here and this works something different. That's not how the Africans, that's not how they looked at it and how they taught it. So if you want to go with those ideas like that, you can, but it's just not truth. So skin color does not change whether a person has a soul or not. Whether that was the same 500 years ago as it is today. So white people were doing the same thing, saying the same thing 500 years ago. 1,000 years ago, they were saying that women didn't have souls. So people have always taken up that idea, but it's a lie. It's untrue. Okay, everybody has a soul. Okay, and let's see. Bond member says, I'm having difficulty with understanding the Neteru. Could you please elaborate later during your presentation? Thank you, brother. Okay, the Neteru is basically that's really a simple one, and it's going to seem like it should be more difficult, but bond member, this is it. The Neteru are simply aspects of nature. That's it. They're aspects of nature. So Osiris is the aspect of the soul that is within us. And we're part of nature. So Osiris is the aspect of the soul that is immersed in the human body. Okay. Heru is the idea of becoming enlightened about your connection to your higher self. Okay, that's the Christ. Okay, so it's that instantaneous, like, dang, I get it now. The light bulb comes on. That instant is Heru and the enlightenment that you just received. So Isis is simply the environment or Mother Nature. Okay? It's the environment that anything has to happen in. If you don't create the environment first, you can't have something. That's where the feminine aspect comes in. So it's just nature. That's all the Neteru are. If you think of them as people, then yes, you get thrown off. And I know a lot of people teach it that way, that it's people, but that's just not it. Okay. So the Neteru are not people. They are just simply aspects of nature. That's it. Okay. Does that help you, bond member? Let me know. Let's see. Just type in there. So let me know. Give me a yes. I see you said thank you. Okay. Let's see. A piece of God and physical. Let's see. Cool Kid said, yeah. Nichols Cool Kid said, you're a piece of God and the physical. Yes. Okay. Get to the demons here in just a minute, Crystal B. So I'll definitely get to demons and how it's done. See the W Battle. Thank you very much, brother. So W Battle gave $5. Thank you very much, man. You guys are on today, man. I thank you really. Let's see if you said question is this: how can you quote from the Gospel of John to prove your point? Okay, Genuine Seeker says if you say that Jesus Christ doesn't exist, the gospel to prove your point, because the idea, the truth that it is, does exist. So there's an idea that was made up that Jesus was a person. Jesus was not a person, but the truth that it speaks is real. So that's how I use that, and that's how I know that, and that's how I can look at the Bible. So I separate the idea that because Jesus wasn't real doesn't mean that the ideas that were spoken in the Bible, that doesn't mean that they weren't real. Okay, your inner experience is real, and a lot of times what's happened is that in the church we were taught to call any inner experience that we had. We were told that was because of Jesus, because Jesus existed. Well, that's not true. Many people have these inner experiences. That doesn't, because Jesus didn't exist, Christians get upset and are like, well, if Jesus didn't exist, then that invalidates my experience. No, that doesn't. It's just not Jesus. Jesus had nothing to do with it. Your experience was something that was natural in the now, right now, that was a part of you. Okay? So there are plenty of ideas in the Bible that can confirm African spirituality. So because I don't believe that it's historical does not negate the truth that is within it. It's just that we were taught exoterically. We were taught a public meaning, but the esoteric meaning was secret, and it's a deeper meaning that connects to universal laws and different ideas that are much more impactful to us than the exoteric teachings. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. That was a good question. That was a really good question. Let's see. I'm trying to hit back up here. Let's see your explanation. Okay, thank you, bond member. Bond member said my explanation really helped. So thank you very much. I appreciate your gift as well. So bond member gave another $5. So thank you very much. That helped me, bro, because I was trying to look for it. Let's see. Deborah Rose, how's it going, Deborah Rose? So offset means environment. Yes, it's the environment. It's the environment, the womb. Yes. So the womb, the environment. So the feminine netters, all those just mean the environment that has to accept the seed for something to grow. Okay. They are the nourishment. If you want to take it to earth science, think of the soil. Okay, so the feminine netter would be like the soil that the seed is planted in. Okay, and then that seed has a chance to basically die and then grow and then be reborn. Okay, so that's one way to look at that. Let's see, but doesn't refer to the passage established. No, the genuine seeker. Why does it establish the authority? So if you're thinking from a Christian's perspective, then yes, you can say it establishes some authority. But you're looking at the Bible as the authority. I don't see it as an authority. It's another book. Okay. So no, again, another good question. But no, it doesn't establish any authority. Okay. When you understand the Bible at the deeper level, then all the Christian doctrines and ideas that they've given you, they filter away. And believe me, I had no reason to want the Bible to have any relevance. Man, when I got out of Christianity, I was so pissed at Christianity and the Bible and all that stuff that I was taught, because I felt like I wanted the Bible to have no relevance at all. I'd rather use it as a doorstop. When I first came out, and for a lot of years, that's what it was for me. It was nothing but a doorstop. That's the importance that the Bible had for me. But I wanted truth. and I looked for truth. And when it connected me back to the Bible, again, I didn't want it. But if I wanted to be honest with myself and honest with what I was learning, then the truth is what mattered. So that's why I can still reference the Bible and I can pull what's true out of it and leave the lies to the side. Okay? So that's how I look at that. We have to understand that African spirituality was here long before. Yes, Ruby Jackson, African spirituality was here long before any religion, long before it. So we're talking 50, 60, 100,000 years that these things, these ideas have been developed. And Kemet was not the last. Kemet was the last great African civilization, but there were many more that Kemet got its information from. And I get a lot of people that want to say, well, no, you're trying to make it like Africa is a monolith and they're all this. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there was a connected spiritual system in Africa long before it was colonized. The names were different. Okay, the names that they call them, like the Orisha and the Neteru, those are the same concepts. They're just different names. And most likely Kemet got a lot of that information from those ancient systems, because that knowledge flowed up the Nile from the south, from South Africa up, or from the interior Africa all the way up the Nile. Okay, so that's how information flows. It just flowed along the river, and there's tributaries that spread out all over Africa. So those systems are all connected. I had a brother this morning that said that in Kenya there's he was watching one, and I was talking about Asar and Lazarus and Aru, and he said that and Asar just meant or symbolizes a mummy, and how people are asleep. That's how that symbolism works. And he says Aru in his language, ARU, means sleep. I'm like, man, that right there is a connection that proves so much that Africa is so connected spiritually in a lot of different ways, you know? So, man, okay, let's see, the genuine seeker, let's see, the Christians believe in God's image. So is it the case that God is human? Okay, so this is a good question. I love it. So Lionel Fairley says, the Christian belief that we were created in God's image. So is it the case that we think of God, we think God is human? Was there a slave? No, there's something else in for the white man. Let's see, think God is human. So is that the case that they think God is human? Yes, they think that that looking in the mirror and seeing a human face that's the image. But the image is truly consciousness. We're conscious just like God is. The drop is as conscious as the ocean, not the physical, because guys, we have this idea that humanity and that the human race is all there is in the universe. And I can tell you it's not. There are other beings outside of this planet, outside of this solar system, outside of this galaxy that exist. And they're not physical. They're in the image of God. That's going to freak some people out, I know. Woo-wee! But it's the truth, okay? Let's see. Bond member, thank you, brother. And Bond member says, please support this brother by buying this Intro African Spirituality course. It's $29, and it's a high-quality product. Thank you, Bond member. I appreciate that, brother. I really do. I really do. I try to do everything to the best of my ability, and I do it I want it to be good, and I want it to be a good experience. So I definitely want to make it that. Let's see. One thing you know is that Kush Burger is essential multi-people. That's how that well. So, okay. Let's see. How do you change? Let's see. Okay, things are going fast here. Hang on, guys. I'm just trying to look at your questions here. Tell us the real highs. Still learning. Please bear with me. Okay, let's see. Okay, looks like y'all Do you have any insight on astrology, astral projection, and Kemet associated with Mayans? I have been yearning for truth. That's something actually. That was Giovanni Martinez. So thank you for that gift too, Giovanni. Was asking about insights on astral projections and stuff. Now that's something I studied, but I haven't gotten real deep into it. I know my daughter; that's some things that she's looked at. So if you're talking about astrology and stuff like that, that's definitely going to be more her avenue. So I do know that as far as astral projections, that's something that we do naturally do when we sleep. Guys, we're more alive when we're asleep. We're more conscious then because we disconnect from our rational mind. And we travel the universe, literally. We travel the universe. So our consciousness leaves a part of it, leaves our body, and it travels. Okay. And then what it brings back is a lot of times the dreams that we're like, what does that mean? Well, the soul is trying to give you an approximation of the experience that you had. And is literally trying to put it into a context of the physical when something might not translate into physical. Okay. So that's why a lot of times the symbols in the dreams, they're metaphors. They're saying this is what this was like. Okay, and that's how you have to look at dream information. Okay, and let's see, so spook if we were to rise. Yeah, race is a sociological construct. Everybody, we're the human race. Can a black person incarnate white? Absolutely, positively, yes. And that's where the Osiris comes in. If you have a strong emotion that like hate, you hate another race, a lot of times what will happen is that you will reincarnate as that race so you can get the feeling of what it felt like to be that or be hated by someone. And that can keep you tied into a particular cycle of life on your reincarnations, those strong emotions like that. Okay. Let's see. And Michelle said, "Everywhere course is life changing. There's so much to learn. You will be." Thank you, Michelle. So Michelle she said that 1999, she says the African Mind Rewire course is life changing. Says there is so much to learn and you will not be disappointed. Yes, it is an excellent course. I created it, yes, but I know the first month of that course, you'll never be the same. You cannot think the same and take that course after the first month. There's just no way. Link to the African Spirituality course. Yeah, let me type that in here. Let's see. Well, I guess I'll put up the whole link. HTTP is I should have had this already done here. Okay, so there's the link to the information page there, guys, for the class. And let's see, Giovanni. Let's see. It's not true. Okay, Almond, in Ra Almond, you said that what I say is not true, and you are of course welcome and able to believe what you believe. I'm speaking truth, okay? And there ain't two gods. There ain't a God creating white people and a God creating black people. There's one creator. Either that's true or it's not for you. So that's all I'm saying. Okay. So you can get into the racial stuff, but there's only the human race. So different races might have a different construct of consciousness where they experience things a different way, but the human race is a human race, and there's only one. Let's see. So let's see. Many of us grew up believing blasphemous to call ourselves God. Yes. Tritech says Many of us grew up believing it was blasphemous. And again, that was a Christian way of thinking. And part of Christianity was to break you down psychologically so they could control you. Plain and simple. So you get into these ideas of calling yourself a wretch, original sin, and all that. Man, that's a different thing. So okay, so let's get in there, because that goes into the devils and demons. And this is what you have to understand about this idea, and it really stems from the idea of original sin, that we have to have devils and demons. Okay, they both exist as part of a whole, really. Okay, so when you have your foundations of beliefs built from the idea of original sin, and along with original sin is the idea that mankind is wicked from Jump Street. The moment you're born, you are bound to be a wicked human being. That's what our original sin means. That's what that doctrine means. And a close cousin to that is the doctrine of total depravity. And you guys need to look this stuff up and read it, man, because this is huge. And when you think about it, you have this idea that you are wicked. So anytime you do anything bad, man, that confirms that I'm wicked. Okay? Then there's guilt or shame attached to that action and attached to that event that happened. Okay? How do you reconcile that? How do you psychologically reconcile the idea that you are wicked? Okay, that you're born wicked and now you know you are. It's confirmed because of what you did. Well, guess what? You need something that will absolve you of the responsibility for what you did. So guess what? Man, the devil made me do it. That's how those two things work together. Okay? Demons is really a more pronounced and a more like the idea that something is within you that's making you do something that you have no control over. And people will say that who they can't control, they have to be demonic. Man, I can't. Man, this child here is just like, ooh wee. But hey, anybody that's had children know that around 13 or 14 years old, it's like that child goes turning their head. Well, I can't turn my whole head. But it's like that child that you knew at 10 years old disappears, and this demon seed all of a sudden like crops up. Okay? That's how people, so a parent would go, damn, that child has changed. That child must have a demon seed in it. You know, it must be a demon in this child, is why they're not acting right. So it absolves them of the responsibility for now what their child has become. Okay? And if you think about it, guys, why do we have laws in our society? Now, I'll wait for somebody to just give me a thought. Why do we have laws in our society? Anybody? Why would you think we have laws in our society? Do laws like help us to expand? Do laws impart in us how good we are? Order, control, okay, to keep control. Yep. Okay. What are we keeping control of? What are we keeping control of? To ensure order. Okay. So what are we keeping control of, and why do we have to have that? Why do we have to have order? Induce discipline, okay, to control people. Okay. So if we're controlling people, and everybody, that's why I see a lot of, we're controlling people, but the whole idea of our laws is based from the Christian idea that people are wicked. So in order to keep the wickedness at bay, they must be controlled. So the foundation of our whole society is based on the idea of wicked human beings and original sin. Because if there were no laws, then what would happen, my people, if there were no laws? Think about it. From our perspective, and from the people in power, if there were no laws, mankind would run amok, killing each other, doing wrong things to each other, doing all of this stuff if there were no laws. Why? Because mankind is wicked. That's where that perspective comes from. So demons and devils have to absolve the person of their responsibility. That's all those ideas do. Because you never see the presence of the devil, or you never see something walking towards you. And even if you do, it's like, man, I got to name that something. That's the devil. Okay? So think about it. Think about it. Hey, and Ron, it's all good. Regardless of my disagreements, it says, I thank you and I appreciate you. Yeah, it's all good. So we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. So it's all good. So it's just, I'm offering a different perspective. So everybody has their beliefs about things. And, I don't want to change people's minds. And I'm going to offer a different perspective about something, and then you can make a decision about it yourself. So that's really what it comes down to. Okay? Let's see, laws in places that never heard of Christianity. They are laws in places that never heard of Christianity. Yes, but they still have the same idea that there are that there's something inherently bad as an individual and as a human. Okay. In other words, there are even spiritual systems that put the spirit and the flesh at odds with each other, even though they're not Christian. Okay. So that idea is in a lot of different systems. So that was a good point. And that was Pat. Man, I'm trying to pronounce the name. Patiste Wood. So that was a good point. Excellent point. Let's see. I think the evil fear that shows up in humans is just a manifestation of. Yes, that's what the Africans. So Amber Al Bergati says, I think the evil fear that shows up in humans is just manifestations of the polarity or opposition. That's it. It's light and dark, light and shadow. So everything that exists has two poles in our universe. It couldn't exist. So there has to be one side or the other. That's just the philosophy behind it. Okay. What about body snitchers, laws, system of people, natural beings don't need law? I'm not sure how you mean that. Riva Tiare says, what about body snatchers? Law is for the system of people. Natural people beings don't need law. And I'm not saying that organizing or organization, things are going to naturally organize itself some kind of way. Okay, that's just the way the universe is. It's going to naturally organize itself some kind of way. But our laws are based on control because the assumption is that mankind is wicked. That's what especially in Western countries, that's what these laws are based on. Okay, and based in. So yeah, definitely agree with that, Amber. Definitely. We live in a world of duality. Absolutely. So and duality is, so anything that exists, its dual opposite has to exist as well. It's just, that's by natural law. It's not possible. It's like if you're trying to have I use the analogy of experience, okay? Or use the analogy of clapping, okay? Try to clap with one hand. It can't happen. So in order to make that experience of a clap, you have to have its opposite. That's our universe. Its opposite has to appear. Its opposite has to be there, or there would be no experience whatsoever. Let's see. Thoughts on heaven and hell. Those are made up. So Southside Chris says, "What are your thoughts on heaven and hell?" So those are made up ideas. So it's Christianity basically made up a cure for the disease that they created, of the disease of sin that they created. So, and heaven and hell is, of course, the reward and the punishment. But in reality, hell is really, from the ancients' perspective, hell is what we're going through in life right now. We're in the underworld. So, and the ancients' perspective was that the soul is the main character in our journey of life. And as the soul descends from the heavens, okay, that's the only name I got for it. So from the heavens, okay, then it descends into the underworld. That's where, again, Osiris is the netter in the underworld. Okay, so the underworld is Earth. So from the Kemetic perspective, a lot of people don't get that. They think it's something different. The Duat is basically the in between the heavens and the underworld. Okay, that's what, when we're dreaming, we literally enter what the ancient Egyptians call the Duat. Okay, and we travel. Let's see. Yes, heaven and hell is our Vovi says heaven and hell is our mentality. Says you can create one or the other within your existence. Absolutely, positively. Heaven and hell is simply your perspective, your mentality. Let's see. Question: is there to view what's offered in your courses? Yes, there are the information pages. Millicent Jones says, "Is there an outline?" So yes, there's the information pages. Let's see here. Here we go. And I'll just give you the link to both of those pages. So here's the link to the course. So you can get all the information. It's very, very detailed about what's in the course. Okay, and then this is the link to the class. So those are both the pages, and you can go to those pages, and everything is very, very detailed. So you'll spend some time reading about what's in the course and the classes. And then if you guys want birth chart readings or anything like that, Voice, you can put, if you would, just put your page in the chat, please. Let's see. Can you get your email address? I have a few questions about the African Mind Rewire course. So my page wasn't enough for you there, Avril? Let's see. Okay, so damn, I always misspell something. I am like the worst speller in the world, but I still made it through. All right, so that's my email address there. So that's the email address you can reach me at. So we're already time traveling. Time is a construct of the brain. So Marvel Anderson. So time does not exist outside our physical body. So if you dream, you see that all the time, where you're dreaming and you think that you've experienced something for hours and days. And when you wake up, it's only a few minutes that might have passed. I had that happen to me today. I'm like, I have fun taking naps, so I take that as many times as I can a day. But yeah, I was asleep and I was dreaming people in my dreams, and man, I was probably asleep for 30 minutes, but it seemed like it was for days. Oh, I have a question about the time class and a few other questions. Yeah, no problem. Just send me. You can email me, Avril. So no problem. Let's see. I believe that the human is the ultimate creation. Let's see. A-Love says, I believe that the human is the ultimate creation. And from the ancient African perspective, yes, that's exactly what they believe. That the human was the ultimate creation in the physical reality that actually started back its return to the one, okay, as it's learning to reintegrate itself. So that's what that consciousness, and that's the whole idea of the journey of the soul, is that you're going to learn, you're learning on your journey, and you're going to turn and reintegrate back into the one. But to reintegrate, you have to be at a certain vibrational level, okay, back into the one. And until you can reach that level, you can't reintegrate. That means that you have to assimilate experiences. So if you're living in fear, that keeps you separated from the one. You're angry all the time, it keeps you separated from the one. So love is the ultimate like level of experience, and we call it love as a vibration. That's the name that we give to it. But that's the idea that you must be in love with creation, you know. So fear and all those things separate you or keep you from reintegrating back. And that's the whole idea of even living your life, is you're trying to get beyond the point to thinking that being fearful of life experience. Okay. And as you grow and things happen, you no longer fear things like you used to. With Christianity, everything is evil. There's either good or evil, and man, evil is lurking around every corner to snatch you up somewhere. If you live in anxiety of going to hell, you live all that. It makes you vibrate lower. It allows racism, sexism, all the isms. You vibrate lower. You cannot raise in consciousness through the fear of others, through the fear of your life, of people. You do not, as long as you live in fear, you're vibrating at a low level. And if you see, especially with and I have to talk to my Black brothers and sisters here, is that a lot of times we gravitate more towards fearful ideas than anything. Okay. And it's because of how we've been socialized. We've been socialized to live in fear because of white supremacy and racism. A lot of times we've been socialized to live fearfully. But as long as we stay in that state, we're at a low vibration and we have to rise up. Okay. So you got to release some things in order to rise consciously. Let's see, how did you learn from his teachings? Dr. Ben, so ITC James, Dr. Ben, and was that, if that question is directed to me, James? Yes, I am aware of a lot of their teachings. So I've watched the YouTube videos on their teachings. So they definitely are somebody that I have respect for. So Dr. Ben and John Henry Clark. Voice says, yes, well said, Dad. Thank you, my daughter. So do you think that spirit transitions when our physical body, let's see, physical body dies? Yes, it transitions. And guys, if you guys haven't watched the movie, the Disney movie Soul, it's a kid's movie, but it's on point. Check that movie out. It's going to teach you more about the soul, the life between lives than we'll get anywhere. Check that movie out, The Soul. But yes, we transition and we get prepared to live another life. Okay. So we have our guides come and meet us as when we die. That's what the Netter Anubis represents. Anpu or Anubis. It represents a guide that comes. And especially as we're younger souls and not used to dying and leaving, we usually have guides that'll come meet us at the door, so to speak, and help us through. Okay, so that's the Netter Anubis. Anubis, Anpu, also John, as in like John the Baptist. So the name John comes from the African word on. Y'all check that out. Some other stuff. Let's see, do you think the spirit transition? Let's see. And it's still very much Christianity, and it really keeps low energy. Yes, Joshua, I agree. My family is too. So it was Christianity. Joshua was saying that that his family is still Christian, and it keeps people in low vibration. Christianity, my family was all Christian, but all of them had my Jesus. And if your Jesus wasn't like my Jesus, I don't like you. It tore our family apart. Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to read questions here, guys. Let's see. What even we believe as show up as a reflection of the mind and life. Yes. So very, very true. So Martha was saying what we believe. Life is the reflection of what is within us. It's the mirror. Absolutely. We start release those things to vibrate higher. You and shop with lavega.com says, how do we start to release those things to vibrate higher? You have to assimilate. It's through life experience that you assimilate these ideas. So let's take, for instance, relationships is usually one of the things that really tests us a lot. And if you have a number of relationships, you're probably, if you look back on them, your relationships end up the same way a lot of times, okay? Because you're attracted to the same type people, and if you don't change, then your relationships are going to usually happen the same way. Well, until you figure that out, you keep repeating that cycle in your life, dating the same type people. They might change bodies, they change names, but it's the same person over and over. It's not until you figure out what you're doing that you stop that. So that's how you assimilate, is that you just become wiser. You become wiser, and you no longer are moved by certain things that happen in relationships. Okay, you're no longer emotionally thrown to and fro about things. Okay, so you assimilate those things. So that's how you vibrate higher. You no longer allow certain things to bring you down emotionally. Okay. Let's see. And understand, a lot of people think that you reach a certain level of vibration and you just stay there. That's not true. And understand, your emotions are your cue to what vibrational level that you're on. Okay. And you can change those levels any moment, hour by hour. You can go up and down. One minute you can be afraid. Next minute you're like, hey, you know what? Life is pretty good. Then you might see something on the news and you go, oh shit, I'm scared, So that happens. So it's natural. But you get to a point to where you can see those things and you go like, oh, and you just, okay, yeah, I see how that is, but it doesn't affect you. All right. You're drawn back to attack and negativity. Yes. So negativity and attack when you're in the low vibration. Let's see. Stellar is a good movie too. Let's see. I agree. Ooh, man, y'all got some long dissertations in the chat. Yes, I read my eye. What's going on, Julie? I read my eye says the Soul movie is awesome. Absolutely. Let's see. Crystal Broussard said, I love how you always speak about our souls transitioning. Yeah, and it's like, Crystal, we've been taught to fear death, because if you think about it, man, if when people in our family dies and we're boo-hooing and just going like crazy, a lot of times we're afraid for them. We miss them, yes, but we're afraid because we don't know what happens to them. We've been taught that, man, they go into heaven or hell, and you're not sure. You can never be sure if that person did what was needed to get to heaven, So studies have shown that the most religious people fear death the most. They fear death the most. So we filter out things in reality based on our state of consciousness. All right. Dukes Brown says, do you think that we filter out things in our reality based on our state of consciousness or the vibration we're on? Absolutely, positively, yes. Your beliefs is what filters your experience and sets your vibration. So absolutely positively. You found a religion called Rastafari and the God name is Jah. And my dad teach me that Jah is the short form of joy and happiness. And only he can save you through good times and bad times. I like that. So Marvel Anderson says in Jamaica, we found a religion called Rastafari, and the God name is Jah. And my dad taught me that Jah is the short form for joy and happiness, and only he can save you through good times and bad times. I like that better than the Christian idea, that's for sure, of God. Heaven is a construct of what state of consciousness? Yes, A-Love says heaven and hell is a construct of what consciousness that we're in. Absolutely, positively. Repeat the Lord's Prayer from child. What's your thought about repeating the cycle with your children? I'm not sure. See, Shauna Bryan says, having been taught to repeat the Lord's Prayer from childhood, what's your thought regarding repeating the cycle with your children? So I'm not sure when you say the cycle, repeating that prayer in the cycle. Now I know, of course, parents always repeat cycle, or children usually repeat what they've been taught because that's the environment that they've been in and that's all they know. Okay, if you're in a certain environment all the time and you don't know anything else, that's just how things are supposed to be. That's how cycles are kept going. Let's see. Comes from the word Jehovah, which is in anglicized form the word Yahweh. Okay, and Lagada says Jah comes from the word Jehovah, which is an anglicized version of the word Yahweh, which is Hebrew. Okay, and let's see. Let me know. Okay, less 24 hours. Yeah, Rhonda says my mom came to me and let me know she was okay in less than 24 hours of her passing. Yeah, and that's, if you're open to that, absolutely, they will do that for you. They will do that for you. So absolutely. See, DJ, do you repent? Do I repent from what? I don't believe in sin, so no, I don't repent. And it's a losing battle, because when you believe in and you believe in those ideas, you repent, and then there's something that'll make you sin. You got to repent again. It's a constant battle. So you never win with the Christian ideas like that. So no, I don't repent. I live life. I enjoy it. Now, if I screw something up, I learn from it. I say I'm sorry. I apologize, stuff like that. It happens. Let's see, I always think my thoughts bring forth my emotions, and that's see it in actions. Yes, your thoughts do bring your emotions. So thoughts, emotions follow your thoughts or your beliefs. Absolutely. So we get really deep into that in my class. So definitely. So I teach how that works. He's a Scorpio. Let's see. Looks like we got some astrology stuff going here. Say I'll most definitely do that going forward. Some found info chart. Okay, let's see. Yeah, y'all talking some astrology stuff. All right. Let's see. Is there a specific way to become open to having past loved ones come to you? My mother passed about a month ago, and I'd love to know if she's okay. Okay, and Sinley says, is there a specific way to become open to having a past loved one come to you? My mother passed about a month ago, and I'd love to know that she's okay. Yeah, the just wanting to know that desire is the first step. And then you can just sit quietly and listen, or I shouldn't say listen. You try to feel for your mother coming back to you. So you can there might be something that comes into your imagination, like a symbol that you guys knew together, something that you experienced together that meant something important to you. So there's many different ways. You just have to be open to the message. Okay. And the message is specifically for you. It doesn't have to be like somebody else's. And that's what we do. We'll start to get rational and go like, well, no, that doesn't that didn't. I was told that doesn't happen like that. Well, no, it's for you. So your symbols are going to be specifically for you. Myself being afraid. Yeah, Nero says, even though I'm not Christian anymore, sometimes I still find myself being afraid of hell and stuff. And that's Nero. That's real and that's honest, brother. Thank you for that. Because because you renounce the religion, the programming doesn't go away overnight. And I can tell you from my experience, that happened for me. It took me years to get over that fear, but it happened the more educated I got about Christianity, and then the African spirituality it took all of that away, because after a while I just saw, one, how ridiculous that it was, and then when you get into the science of it, it makes no sense whatsoever. But I definitely get that, Nero. I understand that, and you that's very real. That's very real for a lot of people. A lot of people, and they don't a lot of times want to admit that. You got to deal with it. Let's see, it's on thought. Let's see. Let's see. So Edward Randolph says, "What about the man that raped little children?" Okay, and so I'm guessing that you're asking what happens to that person that does that. And this is something that you got to understand, that we think in terms of morality and human existence and human laws, but as a soul, you live thousands of lives and you play different parts all the time. And believe it or not, we learn through opposites. So we learn through our pain a lot of times. And sometimes that means you might play the bad guy. Okay. So that guy, so the children or the child that might have been raped, it might have been the impetus to them to go in a direction or learn something different, to make them go in a direction and learn something different because of that pain. Okay. And I know that seems like, oh my God, is he crazy? But as a soul, you live to experience, period. Okay. So again, we get into that a lot deeper. So it's just those connections like that in the class. But let's see, is it your energy? Okay, okay. There is no death, only change of worlds. Yeah. So the Flower One says, "I don't fear death. It's a Western program. There is no death, only a change of worlds and form." Absolutely, positively. That's truth. That's true. We do not die. We multiply. Oh no, that was Baby Kids. My bad, my bad. But anyway, let's see. Yeah, spiritualists. Let's see. Relationships, can their change of self-reflection change their relationship? Absolutely, yes. So good question. Done T, give up now. For those who attract abusive relationships, can their change of self-reflection change their relationships? That's exactly what's going to change that. So because you become attracted to a person because of something within you, and you keep being attracted to those same type of people. Maybe because, and I'm not saying you personally, I'm just saying that people that are attracted to those abusive relationships, somehow they might have love defined in a way that when a person is jealous of them, or a jealous person and is controlling, they might have that in a way defined as, oh man, this person really loves me, you know? And because you have life defined that way, or your relationship defined in that way, you end up dating controlling and jealous people, okay, that become abusive. So until you change that construct, that mental construct of what love means and what it means for a person to love you, then you're going to keep getting involved in those same type relationships. So absolutely. See, thank you. Let's see. Truth. Let's see. Okay, I'm just looking at some questions here, guys. Looking at some statements, I should say. No, rid ourselves of past religious paradigms that keep us in bondage. Let's see. And Dukes Brown says, "Do you know of ways we can rid ourselves of past religious paradigms that keep us in bondage?" Brother, you got just education. You got to get knowledge, and then you got to apply that knowledge. Okay. So let's see. Sometimes we find ourselves slave to a belief system that calls. So yes, and he says sometimes we find ourselves slave to a belief system that causes so much depression. Absolutely. And if you don't get any new input, then you're stuck. You have to change that environment. You have to change your inner environment. And the only way to do that is you got to get knowledge and information, and then you got to apply it. Okay. So and that's what helped me, to change a lot of those negative based ideas. Is I had to learn something different, and I had to learn a different thought process. I had to rewire my mind. Literally, you have to rewire your mind. Age were you, and how did you figure out Christianity was false? See, so DJ Liddy said, "What age were you, and how did you figure out Christianity was false?" So yeah, no problem, DJ. So I started asking questions, DJ, when I was about 15 years old. That's when I was able to start to reason and think critically. That's when I started. I started asking my mother questions first, and my first question was about going to hell. And this was at 15. I remember asking my mom. I said, "Mom, I said Jews don't believe in Jesus. Does that mean that they're going to go to hell?" She said, "Yeah." And I was like, something doesn't seem right. My next question was, a person could be a good human being and be a Jew and not believe in Jesus, and they could still go to hell. But a bad person could believe in Jesus and say, "I'm sorry" on their deathbed, and they could go to heaven. Those two things just didn't make sense to me. So when I started just asking questions like that, that's when I started to question religion, and something just didn't seem right. Now, I will say this: I think that most of us that do that, we're born to do that. We're born to ask those questions. And when we remove the fear of investigating, then we take it further and we move away from it. But I think all of us that ask those questions, that we were born to start to begin to ask those questions for a reason. Okay. Don T, thank you. I'm glad you came in, brother. So glad you came in. Don T says he just joined my courses. So good. I think they're pretty good, but I'm kind of prejudiced or biased. Let's see. You have free will, but your free will choose effects. God is in you and out. Peace. Let's see. The thing Christianity made people see God. Yeah, Christianity. A Flower is right. Christianity made God separate from us, and God is not. So we are God in human form. So we're not separate from God. Are you? No, that's okay. Long as if I don't see it, then yes, put the question up again. So she was saying, "I'm sorry for the multiple questions. Are you familiar with the philosopher Max Steiner?" No. It seems you would like this philosopher. Yeah, no, I've never heard of Max Steiner. So what about prayer? So Candace asked, "What about prayer?" So you got to be a little bit specific for me about that. Put that in some context for me, Candace. You asked, "What about prayer?" Candace W. So you know when my dad's around because I smell cigarettes he uses to smoke. He quit 1 year before he passed. Okay, Ruby Jackson says she always knows when her dad's around when she smells cigarettes because he used to smoke and he quit a year before he passed. Yeah, those are some of those very personal signals that you will get. And a lot of people will go, "No, ain't nobody smoking." Eh, you know. Rationally, they go, "Yeah, and throw it away. But intuitively, you know there's something there. And that's why we gotta quit throwing away our intuitive. I call them intuitive pings. Those intuitive messages that we get like that. You know. Thoughts. See, I think prayer is a premeditation thoughts, but also know that if you premeditate things, you will always do it. Our definition of prayer, a lot of times we think it's the rituals and the words that we say, but that's a limited definition of prayer. And the African definition is much broader. Okay. And it makes a lot more sense. So the African idea is that you are a being of energy that vibrates all the time. And your vibration, see, do you still pray? How does prayer relate to commitment? Do I still pray? Okay, and listen to my explanation here, Candace. So she's asking, do I still pray? And so the short answer to your question is yes, but not how I used to as a Christian. Okay. But you have to understand that you are a vibrational being. You do not never not vibrate. And that was a triple negative. But the triple negative is intended. Okay? You are always vibrating. So that means your thoughts are being sent to the universe, subconscious and the conscious. Because there are subconscious thoughts that you can have that can change your mood and you might not even realize it. Okay? So you're always vibrating. That means you're always praying. That's what prayer is. From the ancient African perspective, you're sending information to the universe. So the universe doesn't hear, dear God, please, this woman is fine. Can you just let her like turn my way? You know? Okay? God doesn't hear that. What God hears or feels is your vibration. And I actually talked about this on one of my videos. I'm trying to remember which one it is because after a while, guys, they all run together. But I talked about one of the biblical stories of Jacob, Esau, and Isaac, where if you read about it from an exoteric perspective, you're thinking that it's about Isaac did Esau wrong, but it's really expressing deeper metaphysical laws. Isaac was blind, which means that the universal laws are blind. The way that Isaac was fooled by Esau was supposedly fooled or was fooled by God. Now I just forgot the name. Isaac, Esau, and who's Jacob? Was it Jacob? I think I can't remember. But anyway, the way he fooled his father was that he put on clothes that felt like Esau. Okay, so blind man couldn't feel. All he could do was feel what he felt. That's telling you right there the vibration you're feeling. The universe feels the messages that you send through your feeling. Okay? The universe is blind, but it can feel you. It can feel your vibration. That's what that means. It's Jake. Thank you, Crystal. So it was Jacob. Thank you. Okay. But you're so y'all see I'm a heathen. I just the Bible I don't always remember it all. But anyway, so it's your feeling that the universe connects to, not your words. Okay, that's why you have to have the right environment, or you don't manifest the stuff that you want. Stories of the Egyptian hieroglyphs, are they metaphorical? Or are they just being misinterpreted? So the interpreted stories of the Egyptian hieroglyphs, are they metaphorical? I'm not sure what you mean. So the mythology is definitely metaphorical. So it's metaphorical. It's analogies, everything. Okay, so they're not literal. Never were supposed to be. And those mythological stories are what became the biblical stories. Lark said, are you familiar with Akhenaten and Atonism? I'm familiar with Akhenaten. I know Aten is just the name for the son of the disk, or the actual disk in the sky that we see. That's what the ancient Egyptians call Aten. But that's as far. But as far as a philosophical thought or religion, I don't know anything about those. No. See, are we able to superpowers like healing, vision? When we're awakened, are we able to walk in superpowers like healing, visions, etc.? So, Mama Vet asked that. Absolutely, positively. So, the soul that is immersed in your body, or actually, you're immersed. So, you have abilities as a soul that you can, once you assimilate your experience and raise your vibration, change your beliefs, absolutely positively, you have powers, or you can gain superpowers, as we call them. So ESP and stuff like that. So absolutely. Thank you, Crystal. So Crystal says good stuff. Which one came first, Almond or Ra, or did they always exist together in space and time? Okay, MD Black says African living. Which one came first, Almond or Ra? Okay, you got to understand what those principles are, and then it'll answer the question for you. So Almond means the hidden. Okay, that's what it means in the Egyptian spiritual science. It's what's unknown. Almond was a part of the Noon, which was pre-existence. And meaning Almond was unknown. What was infinity like? What before the Big Bang what was it like? Okay, Almond was a part of that because we don't know. It's unknown. At the instant of creation, spirit began, or spirit happened. Spirit spread out over the universe. Okay. So that's what Ra is. So Ra. So you can say Amun Ra. That's pretty much like saying the Christian way of saying God works in mysterious ways. We just don't know. Spirit works in mysterious ways. Amun Ra. Okay. So that's how they put those together. But Amun was first to answer your question. Why do they start speaking in gibberish? And I mean, DJ Liddy, that's a good question, and I believe that it is possible for people to channel information, and they can do it in a way where they're speaking in tongues. But I'm not always like, I think sometimes I don't always believe that they're doing that. I'm not saying that I'm saying it's very possible, but sometimes I think people are acting. Okay. Because it's usually too, I've heard that if there's somebody speaking in tongue, then there's got to be somebody that can translate it. That duality thing. Okay. Pre-existence. So Amun is pre-existence. Yes, Amun is pre-existence. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Man, you guys are hanging. So it's already almost been like an hour and a half. If y'all still got questions, I can hang. I'm good. Vo Vibes, how are you? You okay? Actually, guys, I really enjoyed this with you guys. Y'all are a lot of fun. Y'all ask a lot of good questions, make a lot of good statements. So I really enjoy this. So, spiritual significance, and why does it consist of triangles? Oh, Explorer Infinity just asked a huge question. Boy, I mean, well, I don't know if you're boy or girl. I'm just saying, but boy, woo-wee. So the question is, do the pyramids have spiritual significance, and why does it consist of triangles? Woo! That's so deep right there. That's a class. Okay, but I'll try to handle a little bit. So, do you know that the pyramid and the cross are the same symbol? Yeah. They're both expressing the same idea, just doing it different ways. If you think about it, if you make a cross and you could pick it up and stand it on each of its edges, what is it going to look like? It's going to look like a pyramid. But the pyramid is basically the formula for our reality, for a soul descending into the physical. Okay? The four sides, the triangle is the actual elements that are needed to form reality. That stuff there is like, woo, okay, girl. Okay, 6-4 is girl. Okay, girl. Yeah. So the pyramids absolutely have something to do with they are a deep symbol. And then understand that each pyramid, there are four sides. That's the number 4. So it's numerology. It's the number 4. The pyramid sticking up, okay, that's the number 5. Okay? And that's the masculine phallus punching through to Mother Earth, or to matter, which is mother. Okay? So all the pyramid, all the obelisk, all of those just represent the phallus, and the phallus basically planting the seed into Mother Earth. Okay, or I'm sorry, into matter. So matter is mother, which is earth and everything. Okay? So that's a short version. So absolutely. But the cross, the actual cross, is the same expression. It's the same meaning as the pyramids. They're just two different ways to express the same information. Since the soul journey is about experience, it doesn't mean we can do whatever we want, putting human laws aside. Does it mean you can do whatever you want? Yes. Does that mean you are free of consequences? No. Okay. So that doesn't mean that because actually the physical body can impact the energetic being of the soul. Okay. So there are consequences. If you murder somebody, then you'll probably end up reincarnating into a life where you end up getting murdered, so you will know what that felt like. It's never for punishment. It's for knowledge and expansion. So like Hitler affected millions of people, okay? The African slave trade, all those people affected millions of people. So there is a reckoning, so to speak, for that. And I shouldn't say reckoning, because it's like a punishment. But they end up having to experience what those individuals that they did wrong, they end up having to experience that in another life. Okay. And if you don't reconcile that energy, then you will basically stay stuck in a cycle where you're repeating those lives over and over, because you don't learn those lessons. There's a symbol mean on your necklace. Okay. So Black Beauty says, what does the symbol mean on my necklace? So this is the Ankh. And the Ankh, basically a short version of it, the Ankh means life. But it's the feminine aspect, and then the masculine aspect, and then the veil that is in between. So the masculine aspect has to punch through the feminine in order to create life. And life from the African perspective is consciousness. So a person being conscious. So that's what the Ankh means, or one of the meanings. So it can go a lot deeper. So the African symbols are never just like one interpretation. So they can have many different levels, just like the cross can have many different levels of interpretation. So it's an Ankh. Let's see, peace and love. Right, Benny Freeman, peace and family, peace and love, brother. Let's see, Flower Black Beauty. The Ankh is a symbol of life. Yes. See those crystals, scripting symbols, smudging, change. Yes, good question. So Mama Vet. So this is why I love these questions. Woo! So Mama Vet. So this is getting a little bit deeper here. This is kind of stuff I like. So she has does crystals, scripting symbols, smudging change our energy? Yes, they can change your energy. Okay, but it's again, it's a belief thing. But crystals definitely have an impact on your body. I got crystals. I put crystals in my apartment. I got crystals in every corner because I want to create an energetic grid in my apartment, one that is good. Okay, smoke, like incense. Smoke is multi-dimensional. Smoke can clear out your energetic field. I don't know if y'all ever seen the Catholic Church uses these smudging pots where they're walking and they see that smoke. You see the smoke coming out the pots. They know about it. They just don't tell you what's going on. But you can actually get sage and you can smudge your whole apartment. You know, smudge your body, walk through the smoke, and it can clear out your energy field. So absolutely, positively. Yeah, and Millicent Jones says she uses crystals on her altar. So yes, I use crystals. I literally I sleep with crystals under my pillow, and it's so that I can direct my energy in my dreams. I can focus it. The crystals help me focus it. So if I say affirmations before I go to sleep, I'm tuning my subconscious mind to a certain frequency, and the crystals help me focus it. So I slept with crystals under my pillow for years. Sure thing, Black Star Beauty. You're welcome. See, I'm surrounded by more than 50 unks in my home. Kids wear unks. Okay, so Flower Light said he's surrounded by 50 unks in their home. All right. In Christianity for 20 years, therefore you still have these Jesus feelings. How do I get rid of these Jesus feelings in my conscious influence? Okay, and let's see. This is MZO Lisa says she was in Christianity for 20 years and left 4 years ago and still have feelings of Jesus. Okay, and let me tell you this. And she was asking, how can I get rid of them? So when you say the feelings, do you mean you have the fear, or do you equate certain feelings with Jesus? Is that what you mean? So if you can just give me a little bit of a clarification on that. So if you mean that you have feelings that you equate to Jesus, that's just part of the programming. Okay. For me, guys, if something happens good, and understand, I was raised in the church from when I was a child, from when I was a baby to say 19 years old till I left for college. I was in the church. Okay. There are still times that something good can happen to me, and I still say, thank you, Jesus, without even thinking about it. I used to get so pissed at myself for doing that. But now what I realize it is that word or that phrase is attached to a vibration or a feeling within me. So even though I know Jesus is not a historical person, I don't believe in Jesus. I recognize that those words and that phrase represent a vibration, and I quit beating myself up and I just let it flow. You know? So there are things that you might not ever get rid of. You just got to reorient your ideas about them and beliefs about them. So don't beat yourself up if it's not something negative for you. Don't beat yourself up. Let it flow. Guys, I still listen to gospel music. I like it. There are certain gospel songs that I still like. That's just part of my tradition and my heritage. Okay. And I don't necessarily have to throw those away. If I like it and it feels good, I do it. Voice, what was that show we watched on Netflix? What was the name of that? Voices of Fire. Voices of Fire. My voice and I was watching that. Man, you talk about, we were sitting there, and man, when I hear a good song and it just hits me, I just have these chills. I got chills coming over me now. I just have these chills just go over my whole body. And that just means that it's a good vibration for me. It's just something that's making me feel good. And those guys singing that music, and when that was one of the parts of church that I liked, was when the choir was on, man, I enjoyed it. And I still enjoy that music today. I don't throw it out. Okay. And said he went. Yeah, Avril said a friend was knocked down to atheist to Christian, and see that's just their belief. So I can't attest to, excuse me, I can't attest to their personal experience. So people, we all have our inner experiences, and because of our programming and our training, we have to label it. That's just what we do as humans. So you're going to label that experience something. And depending on what your beliefs are, is how you're going to label that experience. So he obviously that experience scared him. So he went back to Christianity. For me, yeah, fuck that. I ain't going back to Christianity. Excuse me, but no, it ain't happening. I'll be dead before that happens. Let's see. And I guess it couldn't happen if I'm dead, huh? Well, whatever. Anyway, y'all see, I'm talking to myself. But I have some good conversations sometimes. Let's see, is a cross and a representation without the feminine principle. Don T, yeah, there you go. The cross it's not necessarily without the feminine principle. It's just a different symbol. Because again, if you could pick up a cross in the middle, it's going to look like a pyramid. The Greek cross is what they call it, where it's equal, not the Latin cross, but the Greek cross where it's equal. If you pick it up in the middle, it looks like a pyramid, but it's just a different representation of these ideas. Yeah, Vovi said if it feels good, don't discriminate. Exactly. If it feels good, if you enjoy and you are in joy, enjoy it. That's what life is about. That's what you're supposed to do. Who moves anybody and everything? There is a reality. Everything never disrupted energy. There is a constructive energy. Yeah, music. Everybody likes music on some level. The libations are communication, knowledge, and giving thanks to the ancestors. Yeah, libations. God. Oh God. It's still about God or good, which is good is just God extended a little bit. God or good. Let's see. Okay, Bonzi. Let's see. Gospel music connects me to my mother every time I hear songs that reminds me of her. It makes me happy. Yeah, and Martha says gospel music connects me to my mother every time I hear songs that reminds me of her. It makes me happy. Yeah, and to me, why give that feeling up? Why give that up if it's something that brings you joy? And a lot of people, it's like, okay, you gave up Christianity, you got to stop all your traditions, you got to stop all. No, because sometimes those traditions was about the family and you feeling connected as family. Man, don't give that stuff up. Let's see, what do you think about the attack on Black men right now and the Black community? Let's see. Young Leslie, what do you think about the attack on Black men and the Black community right now? I don't like it. It riles me up. I'm human, so I'm a Black man, and there is nowhere that I can go if I see a police car. I get anxious. It's just because you never know. So it upsets me. Yeah, so Vivian says, love your teachings of so much. I left the church about 2012. I'm a seeker and lover of truth. And Vivian, that's me as well. I mean, I just want truth. And sometimes the truth can hurt. It can change your whole idea about your beliefs, and it can make a whole construct collapse. And that's painful. But I'd rather have an uncomfortable truth than a feel-good lie any day. Any day. Change me. See, and Flower of Love said, this is the best live chat. I kid you not. I had my spiritual awakening 7 years ago, walked away from Christianity. I still rock with the gospel music. There you go. Absolutely. Be real about it. We need to quit. I know there's a lot of people be rocking with that gospel music, don't want to say it though. But I ain't that. Hey, I'm too old. I just can't. I can't fake the funk. I'm too old. I got past that trying to please other people. Damn all of that. Let's see. You can't find the Commission gospel music? Damn, me either. DJ Liddy says, I can't find the Commission gospel music. I bet they had some, though. Between black and men. The vibe between us right now is scary. I was thinking about between black men and women, brother. The divide is between us. Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of it is because of fear, mistrust that we carry deep in us. So young Lex was saying she's talking about the divide between black men and women. So it's hurtful, you know. But you know, it's again, unless we change our thinking, that type of stuff is going to keep going on, and a lot of it again is just we mistrust each other on a lot of levels. Police stopping people are recorded to make sure they make it home safe. Yeah, I hear you. So Rhonda said she sees my people being stopped by the police, she stops and records to make sure that they make it safe. So absolutely. So Bronze Yogi said, I walked away from Christianity and the Hebrew Israelites. God dang, boy, you went from the fire into the from the flame into the fire. Good grief. So yeah, I understand that. So, and once you walk away, it's like your mind can never go back to those constructs again, to that constraint. So it's incredible. Let's see. Like I said, what about the new beings called robots? Men can buy women robots. I guess if they want to buy them, they can buy them. So this is the way I look at stuff like that. Is that we all have our life to live. And it is not for us to tell anybody else how they should live their life if it's not harming another human being. Okay? So we have the right to do what we want in the privacy of our homes, and nobody else can dictate that. That's a Christian idea, you know, that somebody has to live a certain way, and it bothers me so much, I want you to change. Hell no. So let people live the way that they want to live. If it's not hurting anybody else, who cares? Let's see. You know, Pacewood, I've never seen the 42. I guess they're called the negative confessions. Okay, and I think that's the same thing. But I've never seen those anywhere. So that doesn't mean that they haven't existed. Just I've never come up on them like the negative confessions, because it's like the universe doesn't hear no. In other words, I don't want this to happen. The universe doesn't hear don't. Okay. So if you want to negatively confess something to the universe, you're just putting it out there. So no doesn't negate. Okay. So and then as far as living Ma'at, Ma'at is really the idea of consciousness. That's what Ma'at means, okay, or what it symbolizes. And it's just an inner, and we go in to connect with that, okay. So and when I say to assimilate experience, that's becoming balanced, okay, which is one of the words that we hear connected to Ma'at is becoming balanced. That's where spirit and flesh meet. Okay, and that's where you're becoming balanced. So living those laws of Ma'at. Let's see. Oh, so Mama Vet says, do I think they would take over to about the robots? Uh, See that to me that lends to fearful thinking, and I think and my we create our reality based from our beliefs. So I believe that if that's something that people as a collective start to believe, that is something that can happen. But AI is here to stay. So I think you're talking about artificial intelligence. So AI is here to stay. So we already have it. It's a lot of times it's really ubiquitous that we don't even know that we're using it. You know, I don't know anybody that has like I write a lot, so I use Grammarly, the program Grammarly, and that program is AI. Okay, that's what that is. We have AI driving trucks and cars right now, self-propelled trucks and cars. So right now we have trucks with AI making deliveries. So it's only a matter of time before those things get more and more advanced. AI is actually creating computer programs. Okay, so that is going to happen. Whether or not it takes over, not in my world, it won't, because humans are going to be needed. There's certain things that human creativity and consciousness can do that machines just never will be able to. Manifesting flesh, we are infinite beings. We are multiple beings. We're all that there is. Absolutely, absolutely. At that point, the universe absolutely does not hear no. Right, the universe does not hear no. So if you want to create, you got to put out what you want. And that's where a lot of times the negativity that we're so much associated with, it brings up fear in us. And we don't want the fear. We don't want the negativity. But that means that you have to focus on what you do want. You don't protest against war, you know? Think about what you want peace to look like. So that's how we need to shift these ideas. Don't fight against cancer. How do we project health within ourselves? Okay. So a lot of times we're going to fight something, but that ends up giving it more power. So Vivian said, I would love to hear about the Ba and the Ka. What is the meaning of the Ka? So the Ka so talking about the Ba and the Ka is essentially the fire and desire to create. Okay, that's the simple explanation of it. It's that desire. So understand that we have the four elements of earth, air, fire, and water. Fire is just symbolic of desire. And the Ka is desire. That's why Ptah is known as the father Ka. It is the fire to create anything in the universe. So it's at the universal level. Okay. In the human level, guess what the Ka is? The Osiris. So the soul that is within us. If you look at Osiris and Ptah, you'll both see that they only have one leg. Okay. So, but it's the fire of desire that can create. And the Ba, everything is Ba. So it's spirit. So today, and I'm going to just update this idea for you. The Ba and energy and spirit is the same thing. Everything in the universe is energy. That's what the ancients were saying when they say in the beginning was Ba, in the end will be Ba. So everything that the Ka creates is from the Ba. So the Ba needs the Ka as a container to even localize and become an individualized being. Or else it's like air. Okay. We know there's air all around us, but until you can put air in a balloon, you can't localize it. That's the same way spirit is until the Ka localizes it and causes it to take form. So the Ka is the fire and desire of all form. Like chi. Yes, chi is just energy. Just energy. The life force. Okay. So that's the ba, that's spirit. And it's all around us, through us, a part of us. There is nothing that is not spirit. I'll put it that way. Nothing that is not spirit. Or as we say today, energy. Energy and spirit is the same concept. We have to look at that conceptually. Energy and spirit is the same thing conceptually. We just use the words, we got the word from an ancient time, and a lot of times we disconnect because we don't understand it conceptually, what it is. Is the understanding for single out women. I'm the only guy who looks at them as divine figures, like people who say man made all the nonsense. So DJ Liddy says this world always single out women. I'm the only guy who looks at them as divine figures, like people say man made all that nonsense. So I would definitely say that Abrahamic religions have a huge and horrible record for women. Absolutely, positively. So yeah, that the way that women, and again, if you go back to centuries ago, the church used to question whether women had a soul, you know, and the Christian church basically removed the feminine from a lot of their doctrines. Even when you talk about the Trinity, the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost, okay, or Holy Spirit. Well, the Spirit is feminine. But if you look at what the Christian church does, they don't acknowledge that. So that Trinity just means that that's the creative Trinity. Anything that can be created, it has to have a seed, and then it has to have the soil or whatever it is to nourish that seed. And then the third thing is the child that's created, or the creation from those two, that duality. Let's see. Slavery was caused due to bad actions. Let's see. Explorer Fitness said the decline of civilization, slavery was caused due to community bad actions, karma. And see that goes to thinking of punishment. That because of slavery, black people, we must have did something wrong to be punished. Underneath that is really the belief in the idea that we had to have a reckoning of some sort, and that's underneath that is still Christian. Okay, so there's many different reasons why slavery came about, but even the idea that consciousness came into our planet, it came through Europeans and whites. That consciousness came through. But the whole idea is that we think in terms of victim and God, now I'm drawing a blank. Perpetrator. So victim and perpetrator. And we have to rise above this thinking to understand that we're in a game, we're in a dance of consciousness. And that dance is to elevate us ourselves, black and white. Okay? So whites on one end, they deal with a lot of things too, because they deal with a lot of guilt. Okay? They deal with the whites that don't see themselves as racist. They deal with a lot of guilt a lot of times because they know what's happened. Okay? And they understand it. And even whites that are in a privileged position, they deal with a lot of guilt. So that affects all of us negatively. And of course, black people deal with the pain, of white supremacy and racism. Okay, but how do we overcome that? And we got to figure out how to do that dance. But we got to take off the victim perpetrator idea and look at it more from a universal law and energetic perspective. And that's when we'll start to raise consciously on that. That's why I was saying that this knowledge is not for just black people. Not for me. It's not just that black people should only learn this. This knowledge helps humanity, and I'm open to spreading that. So let's see. My son has me never taught that. Let's see. Oh, Voice likes that show, Crystal. Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, we watch Voice. Then we watch man, probably 2 seasons of that show. But it's deep though. It's deep. It's got some good stuff in it. Here, be led by Smalls asks, how can we learn to hear and be led by our intuitions? It's just trial and error a lot of times, but you have to be open to it. And a lot of times when you're led by your intuitions, sometimes it might be a little bit scary because it might be telling you to do something that goes against what you have believed before or your safety. Okay. So, but you have to be open to it, and then you have to trust it, and you have to act on what you get. Okay, Vovi says she's watching what, Airbender now. She says that so the last Airbender helped her further awakening. Guys, there are some shows out there. I watched one just this past week on Netflix called it was called something, the Wink Saga or something like that. But man, they get in some deep metaphysical stuff about magic and stuff like that. Guys, y'all sleeping on those shows. They get into some deep metaphysical stuff on that. For real. I forget what it's called Wink something. But it was a good show, very interesting. To interact with people like webinars or strictly even at Facebook. So Millicent says, by signing up for the 5-module course, are there opportunities to interact with people like webinars? Not for the course. Now, for my class, we do that. As a matter of fact, for the class, we're going to have the virtual class next week. So I won't be doing a live next week. So we'll do that the week after because I do the class. And I'm thinking if Vo is up to it, we can actually look at doing another live like during the week too, because I know some people can't always make the weekend, so we can look at doing a weekday live. Let's see. But if you have questions and stuff in the course, in the comments and stuff, Millicent, I do help you with those questions. So as you're going through the course, you can always ask questions in the comments, and then it notifies me, so I answer those questions for you. So that's how I interact with people in the course. So it's not like you get the course and then you just kind of left to your own vices. But if you have questions as you're going, you can just put those in the comments of the course and each module, and I can answer them for you right then and there. And I usually get back to you within 24 hours. So Voice says she's down for a weekday. Okay, cool. All right, well, we'll look at it. Maybe we'll do it on a Wednesday night. That'd be our church. No, I'm tripping. No, but Wednesday night. Let's think about Wednesday night. So Wednesday evening we can try to do one. Well, not try. Try means like I don't like that word. We can do one on Wednesday. Let's see. So our chat said, please, family, let's support the awakening and the paradigm shift by signing up, sharing this video, and making questions. Yeah, exactly. Share it. So Flower says, more of the live chats, and please, family, let's support the awakening and paradigm shift by signing up, sharing these videos, asking questions, and doing the work in ourselves and around us. Absolutely, positively. The flowers of love. So you're right on point there. So it's all about us awakening. And let me give you guys right quick, and then we'll probably get ready to get out of here. But let me explain the idea of ma'at and how that works. Okay. So all of us have our individual consciousness, and as individuals, we come here to learn. Okay, we come here to experience and evolve consciously. So we have an individualized version of ma'at within us. Okay, that is part of who we are. That's our consciousness. And then there's a universal level of ma'at that everybody's connected to. Well, when you learn and you gain wisdom, your individualized experience is literally is uploaded to the universal level of Ma'at. It's universal to that. It's uploaded to that universal. Some people call it the Akasha. So it's uploaded to that. Well, it's in that universal energetic field. So a person that reaches that vibration that you had when you gained that wisdom, then they have the ability to go up and download that same information, and it helps them learn and it helps impact them. So that's how we individually can affect the collective. Is that when we think that we got to change everybody outside of us, and that's really not how it works. When we change from within, we upload that consciousness, and other people, as they move to that level, they download it, and it changes them from within. So we don't change people outside of us. We change us, and then we add to the collective consciousness, and then it can change other individuals. That's the idea of living Ma'at and that circle of consciousness and circle of life. Okay. Let's see, I'm white and 66 and have craved this info forever. So Vivian says, I'm white and 66 and I've craved this info forever. So you're welcome, Vivian. Most definitely. I'm glad you're here. Let's see. It's automatic negative thoughts. It's humans, okay. Jesus was a historian. I know that he never existed. My consciousness does not want to let go, just want to connect. Yeah, and so Mozilla says, Mos Lisa says, I think believing that Jesus was a historical person, now that I know that he never existed, my consciousness does not want to let go. I just want to connect with my higher self without fear. No, and that's real. So I get that. And that's okay. Don't think that you have to just drop everything immediately. What you have to do is you have to get knowledge, and you have to get more versed in a lot of these ideas. So a lot of times you won't move past that fear until you get a different perspective and a different way of thinking about it. And that means that you might have to go to other people to get that different perspective and to look at it differently for yourself. Okay, but don't beat yourself up, because that in itself is low vibrational. When you're beating yourself up, like, dang, I don't want to believe, dang, So don't beat yourself up. Recognize what you did. Recognize that you recognize what it was. Pat yourself on the back. But you have to get more knowledge and information. You can't stay in the same place consciously, knowledge-wise, and advance. It's just impossible. You can, but same thing too. You can't gain wisdom from reading a book. You can get a different perspective, but wisdom only comes through experience. Okay? And your enlightenment. And that's the Christ, actually. When you become enlightened and you connect to your higher self, that in that instant, in that moment, you just became a Christ. And that's man or woman. So Christ was never, Jesus and Christ are two different things. They were never, Christ is not a last name. It's not a surname. Christ is a title. And when you become enlightened, you become a Christ. Okay? That's the idea. Well, so Jesus said you control how you feel. It's all about what you're thinking. Yes, because your thinking is going to, your beliefs are going to, or your emotions will follow your beliefs. So if say if I cussed you out in a language that you didn't understand, unless I use some type of expression for you to cue you, if you hear the words, you don't have any beliefs around those words, you have no reaction. You have no emotional reaction to them whatsoever. But if I cuss you out and you have experience with those words in that language, then you react. So, and it's with your belief about those words that cause the emotion. Applied knowledge is power. Absolutely. Applied knowledge is power. Spiritual sciences. Absolutely. Just gaining knowledge don't do shit. Because I mean, we basically, as Black people, economically, we have stood still for 50 years. Economically, we don't own anything more than we owned 50 years ago. Even home ownership has shrank. Okay, I've heard these ideas of spread knowledge for 40 years. If spread knowledge was enough, then we would have advanced more economically, at least. But it doesn't. We have to learn and apply. We have to learn and apply. Good. These are choices. Okay. All right, guys. Well, it's coming up. Well, actually, it's past 2 hours. So it has been absolutely, positively an amazing chat. Loved it. Loved it. Vo Vibes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Always my moderator. She always does a wonderful job. So I really appreciate her, my wonderful daughter. And everybody that was here, guys, thank you so much. We'll do this again. Again, my class is going to be next Saturday. Vo said we can probably do one on Wednesday night. So the guys that can't be a part of Saturday, then we'll do one Wednesday night for you, okay? And we'll answer questions. We'll hang out and chat. All right. So guys, thank you for being here. Michael Wingo, you're welcome. Let's see, and Black Beauty, you watch this on your whole work shift, girl? God, you must got it going on, Black Star Beauty. She watched this on her whole work shift. She can just lock her door. All right, she got it going on like that. All right. Well, hey, thank you for being here, everybody. I really appreciate it. So we're going to end the chat. All right. Y'all have a good one.